Good day, everybody. Welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 367, and tonight we'll be covering Lightning Scientific Alliance. And you might ask, what is this alliance? Well, basically, it's the New Jersey guys, and we have one guest, Alexander, from New York. So hence the Lightning Alliance. So these guys are going to be speaking on their FMA journey, as well as what they've been doing collectively in the world of Lightning Scientific. And I'm kind of excited. We haven't covered Lightning Scientific in a while, so I'm excited. If you're watching, please tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button, and we're just getting started. And without further ado, I'm going to be bringing up, we have three guests tonight. We have Guru Errol, we have Guru Alexander, and last but not least, Guru Sachi. And here we go. Here we go. Hey guys, welcome. How you guys doing?
Hello, good evening, guys.
Oh, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
Good morning, Philippines.
Yeah. So, as you guys heard in the intro, I'm kind of excited about this. I haven't covered Lightning in a while, so it's been kind of overdue. So, and then, but before we get started, I just wanted, just for the folks who are watching who perhaps might not know your guys' full extensive martial arts journey, let's just go round table and just, I want each of you guys just give me a brief from where you started, I guess, status quo. So why don't we start with you, Sachi?
All right. Well, good evening, everyone here in the East Coast, and magandang umaga, Philippines. So I hope my countrymen from the Philippines is also joining in. So this is Guru Sachi. Let me say my journey would be I started training about when I was 7 years old. It was my father who initially introduced me to the martial arts, the Filipino martial arts. He wasn't an arnisador. No, he wasn't a master by any means, but he was really enthusiast in the martial arts. He would buy black belt magazines and all the stuff. He had a teacher. He had a master in Iloilo, in Panay, that he introduced me at a young age. It was Lolo Mayong. He had the short time that I spent with the old man. It was really a great system from what I remember, and how they managed it. My dad just bring me to like a nipa hut in a farm and said, I told his teachers I'd like my son to learn. Is he ready? Is he, because he's still young, but so we can go about that a little bit later. But down the road, my father, he was an enthusiast, but he also got elected as vice governor of our province. So one of his advocacy was to spread Filipino arnis in the awareness of it, because it's still in the time nobody knew. There's not a lot of people. Filipinos know about arnis. It's a very family-centric system, and it was like hidden in and passed on through family members only. So he wanted to bring that awareness of Filipino martial arts to the province, at least start from the province where he's serving. And that's when I don't know what the story is, but that's when he introduced me to his uncle, which happens to be Grandmaster Ben Lema, founder of Lightning Scientific Arnis, which is also from our hometown. And he asked his uncle to spearhead, or like he wanted to gather all the arnisadors in the Panay Island, where I'm from, in a big plaza to do a demonstration. Just he just called in the radio, said anyone there who are practicing arnis or any form of like Filipino martial arts, the provincial government of Capiz is calling on you to join us. We'll take care of everything. And then the main celebrant of that show was his uncle, Grandmaster Ben Lema, which he flew in from Manila to be in that in that plaza with everything. So it was a festival. It's an annual festival in Capiz where the whole town goes into the streets and then celebrate. So long story short, that's where I met my lolo. It's he's my grand uncle, but we call them still our grandfather. That's where that was the first time I met him. That was probably when I was about 12 years old. That's when I got to be introduced to a formal system of our niece, because most of the family systems, they don't have curriculums or anything. They just go however the teacher thinks you are ready for, and then you just go from there. So but Mang Ben, with his system, the the word scientific there means he really structured his family style. He was taught from his archives, from his book. He was taught by his grandfather. They have a family system. So, but because he also trained in Japan, he put his system. He put like curriculum in his system, and like you have the belting and you have the ranking and everything. So it was so well organized. We have like you would see diagrams, you would see steps, and stuff. So that was really something that made set him apart from the other family group. So I'll then after that, of course, that's when I really got trained into the system since about 12 years old. So and I'll focus later once everyone gets introduced to my time with my grandfather and the system and where it's now. But for now, I think that really started my journey is being introduced to my grandfather, the founder of Lightning Scientific Arnis. Training with him at such a young age. I was the youngest to be trained at that time. And I'll go from there later. So thank
Okay.
you.
Sure. And we got folks, we got Guru Royce watching. We got Frank Chakowski, Eric O'Brien. We got Andres.
Hello, hello.
And we got Kurt from Alaska. Noah. And we got Guru Alex. All right, folks, if you're watching, tell us who you're watching from. If you have questions, please put them in the comment section and I will definitely see them. Next, Guru Alex.
Yeah. All right. So I started with martial arts, I guess, when I was 8 years old. I first start was Taekwondo, like a lot of people, I guess. I did that for 6 years. I guess up to around high school. And then, I hit high school and I got involved more in sports. So that's where some of my martial arts took a little bit of a hiatus. So high school was involved in sports, went to college, graduated, and upon graduating was when my brother and my best friend Guru Wilton, who is he's the co-founder of TSR Kali, they were already taking FMA, and my brother Randy kept trying to convince me to attend a class, and me, like the stubborn person I could be at times, was like, why? I was like, I'm good. I don't need to. I feel like I don't need to learn anymore. And so he kept bugging me. And one day he said, you know what? I was like, let me just show you what we're learning. And he said, punch me. I was like, really? I was like, all right. And because we're siblings, obviously the punch is gonna, if he doesn't do anything, I'm going to hit him in the freaking face. So I remember this vividly. Like I took my right hand, I was ready to knock him right in the face. And this bastard almost broke my hand because he gave an elbow destruction to my fist. And literally at that point, I was like, what the fuck was that? And he was like, that's what we're learning. Next day, started attending class, haven't stopped since. This was in 2000. So, I mean, if it weren't from my younger brother, a year younger, but me being the elder, I was like, there's no way I can allow my brother to or feel like he could like break my bones. I'm like, So I joined, thankfully to him. So I mean, this is my like Errol has heard this, and that's how I got into FMA. And in that time during FMA, I've also I've taken Muay Thai and BJJ, but along the way, I always come back to FMA. So been doing FMA for the last 20 or so years. It wasn't until around the time of COVID when we were all stuck at home where we decided to go in a different direction. And then so my, Guru Wilton and I, we decided, it's time for us to start our own school.
Spread your
And
wings.
this is, yep. And here we are now, about, when did we do that? When was this era? Like 2016 when I told, like, or maybe 60, no, it's not 60, 2021. So we're like
Yeah, I
2
did
years
it.
in, and, yeah, so like
I
for
spread my
me,
wings
like,
here
2
before
years
you.
into our old school, like we now have a dojo here in the city, which is like by Port Authority, and still, continue trying to learn. I am fortunate enough to have, been able to practice with Errol running, and also meeting up with Sachi, and continue to learn more about lightning, because I guess the FMA system, or the FNA school that I learned from, like, the main systems that were involved was lightning, scientific, modernist, and the Let the Rap Alone. But for me, like, lightning just was for someone who is a personal trainer, who loves to lift, who loves things regarding power and speed. Lightning was just something that resonated with who I am and how I hit. So like, no matter how much FMA I could possibly learn, somehow I find myself always coming back to lightning and continue to explore it, continue to want to know more, continue to learn, how someone like even like Sachi, how he practiced, how, like, when I met Guru Ryan, like, what was their evolution of lightning, learning from that, and just really kind of, and then also Master Carl of Lightning in UK, like how he learned, because he learned from Sean Porter, who was a direct student of Grandmaster Lima. So like just really seeing how it all connects us, and how everybody has their flavor of lightning, I like to call it. So, but it's always, you can always tell who has like has lightning in their blood, even though it's expressed differently. You're like, there's lightning in there. There's something about how the hits delivered, how it's the intent behind it. So like, I mean, I think that is my one, like what I'm so grateful for, especially in this whole FMA journey, is really just being able to now really connect with a lot of other individuals, and just really sharing our our love and our passion for FMA and lightning especially.
Awesome. And last but not least, Guru Errol.
What's going on? So Black Sheep, yeah.
That's it.
So
The dark one.
the dark side. That's who I am. To be loved, but to be hated. But anyway, yeah. So I came here in the 70s from the Philippines. So again, I was an immigrant growing up. The town I was in, it was only a handful of Filipinos there. So I mean, you heard so many slurs coming at us, and we had to learn how to fight, and again, our way of training in Kali was backyard training. There was no system that my family really did back then. It was just, what they knew, what they taught me, see what works, see what doesn't work. Going through high school, I was a wrestler. That's where my grappling came in. But also growing up, whatever was taught to me, my cousins, taekwondo, karate, those were the things that helped me. And I rolled with a roughneck crowd. I don't know if you guys see my Facebook posts, but I posted it up there just to show that, this is the crowd that I rolled with, and we did what we did, and I wouldn't change it, because what we learned in fighting growing up, regardless if it's Kali or taekwondo or karate, we learned weapons first. Sometimes it didn't work, sometimes it worked. We rolled in hard areas, and like I said, it's a bunch of roughneck crowd. But I wanted to, in my 20s, I wanted to get a curriculum under me. And that's where I met Guru Alex. So I think he trained a year before me in one school. And for the past 20 some odd years, we just kept on training and training and training. And then from there, I just saw too much politics. And that was a great thing that Paulo brought up the other time is politics. Not saying it's a cult mentality, for our old group, but when you're held down with a school for so long, you have to ask yourself, is it loyalty? What works, what doesn't work? And one thing that did work for me was Lightning. So again, we all fell back into Lightning. Alex, myself, Wilton, Manang Joy, that's Alex's wife. My wife even trains. She's the one who actually introduced me to my instructor from back then. And, we just kept on training and training and training. And again, there was just a lot of stuff that Alex and I would do while class was beginning. Alex and I would go on the side and really test out things from Lightning to modern to grappling. And you know what, again, I always fall back into Lightning and I always fall back into grappling. I always fall back into weapons. And now we met up with Sachi. We train, we share, we got the different flavors. But again, from our footwork, from our execution, for our stick work, it actually fell into place. We moved in a similar fashion. Again, like Sachi said, that there's always that foundation of light. So it came down to, you're doing it for over 20 years. That's your movement. And I didn't realize that. It's funny is because I'm teaching for a long time. And when you teach, you start realizing that you're also being a student. So while we were doing seminars, Alex and I were doing seminars for so long, I was doing it first. And then I said, Alex, you have to come in, you have to show your skills, you have to show what you have to offer. And we fed off each other that way. And then from there, we started realizing, oh, we're both moving the same way. Sachi comes to one of our seminars, he starts teaching it, start realizing, wow, he teaches it this way. Alex teaches it this way. I teach it this way. And again, it falls back down to Lightning. So, when you're in the FMA, you just keep on training and training and training. You have to train with other people because after a while, I was a stalemate. It's hard to find people your level or higher, that you want to cross sticks with and, without the ego. And good thing, Alex and I have been friends for God knows how long and training. Sachi, I'm so happy that he's starting to, bring out Lightning again. So that's a great thing. So, people of Lightning, they need to come together and just share their flavor.
Yeah, that's what the alliance is.
That's
Basically.
I'll definitely say that. I don't know if Errol knows this. I probably told you this, Errol. Like Errol, when I met Errol, like when we started practicing, this Dure was the main reason I started getting into. I decided to also explore the grappling side of things because I was pretty comfortable in our stand-up when we'd spar, but when we got to the floor, I just did not like how he was making me feel, and I don't like feeling like I don't know what I'm doing on the floor or feeling a little bit panic. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go take some BJJ, because I don't want to. I'm just that's the competitive. I love that we have a healthy competition between us. So I was like, all right, this guy's a wrestler. I was like, I just need to know something. And then what happened? Maybe a year or two goes back and we go back to the floor, Errol. So it was really cool. And again, so that was one thing. And then Errol, Errol's the annoying gadfly. He said, he kept saying, dude, you got to do a seminar. I was like, nah. I was like, I like what I do. I like staying behind the scenes. I teach just because I like to learn for myself. I want to
stop being a sucker.
So he was like, all right, let's go. And then we did our first seminar, and since then it hasn't stopped. So I definitely owe a lot to how I've grown as a practitioner, as an instructor. Definitely to right here. He has a way of
being annoying,
getting me to do certain things that I probably won't do. That's just how it is. He'd be like because between my brother, I'm I'm the eldest, but Errol would be like my bigger brother. Like he'd be like saying, "Dude, come on, man." I was like, "Let's go." I was like, "All right, fine, let's go." Like so that's how I look at him. So I'm glad I'm glad we get I'm glad we continue to still train even 20 years down the line. Things hurt a little more. Yeah.
Did my renovation? We're doing renovations in my house. So it's empty. And I was going.
I forgot about this.
So we were going over a lot of lightning, and I said, you know what? What's going to happen if you get close range? I said, I'll tell you this. I won't allow a person to take me out. I said, again, we have to go through that oh shit mentality of if someone's here, what are you going to do? And again, there's a lot of stuff that from my experience that will work. Everyone out there, just realize this, and if you guys are listening, if you're an instructor or practitioner of Kali and you don't have street cred, don't pretend you have street cred. Just if you're a good technical practitioner, go by that. That my buddy put up that meme of me standing there like this with a black hoodie, the tactical pants, and it was going all around. The FMA community, and we say this in the background all the time. We say, yo, this guy here, he's a real good practitioner, but he doesn't have any street cred and he doesn't need it, because I could tell you this guy could fight. But then we're here, Alex and I go, so what would happen if I did this? Then he goes, oh, I would do this. So our experiences, no matter what, anybody who comes to my house, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get training, but then you're going to find a way of getting beat up or beating me up, because I want to know what it is to get hurt. That way I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
So in my living room, I don't know, we killed a bottle of scotch while we're training, so you don't feel it.
You felt it the next day.
We felt it for actually a week. For the next week, I kept on texting him going, oh man, it felt like you really beat the crap out of me. He goes, we were beating the crap out of each other the whole entire night. My wife and his wife were going, are you guys done? But that's a good thing, that's what we do in lightning. We test things out to see if it works, and we see what's new.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did obviously it's pretty self-explanatory with Guru Sachi. Back to you, Alex. How did you get involved in lightning?
So where I studied, like I said, one of the major systems was lightning. So our teachers, taught us lightning. Wilton and I actually, we went to the Philippines, so we also trained under Mang Vic. So he was also another student of Grandmaster Lama's, who also founded his own style, Kali Artist International. So our lineage is more of I feel like it was more of Mang Vic's lineage, like his lightning flavor. So that's how we practice it that way for I don't know, I guess I would say we continue to practice that way for 10 plus years. And where it changed for me was when Carl from the UK visited and he came to our school. So him and I, we connected really well. He was, if you haven't met this guy, he is very generous with his knowledge and his time. Where I was there, where I was supposed to almost give him an intro to our system a little bit, it was almost like now we were just exchanging, and I loved it. There were certain things about lightning I knew I didn't know still, because for whatever reason it was. So I asked him, I was like, listen, I don't know this, what is certain aspects of the Gaitama? And Carl had no problem showing it to me. I was like, can I video this? He allowed me to video this. So since then, I kept that in the back of my head. I was like, this is, you don't, I told Errol, we joke around, I don't like to train or hang with dickheads or anything. Basically, because I don't have time for that. There's a lot, so that's why. Carl definitely wasn't. So so what ended up happening is and after that, after his visit, like we didn't really get in touch till around COVID, actually, when I was like, I was itching to do something. I was like, this now's the time. I was like, I messaged Carl. I was like, listen, I was like, you got time to do some virtuals? I kind of want to explore more of Lightning, and that's why I started training with him virtually before he came to visit us again when we opened our school and he taught. So like around that time when I was training with virtually is when he said, listen, if there's somebody you want, like, so Carl and I, we have this thing with like we want to see, we were trying to figure out how what was the original way. It's like, how was it, like, what as close to Mangbet as like the actual curriculum, what, how was it originally taught as much as possible without the flavors of like what our instructors has have taught us. So we were like on this quest, like what aside from like the methods and the bigaitama and the manner to strike, what, how many techniques were in the combat judo and the the baton techniques. We're just on this quest to really just try to learn as much of Lightning as possible. That's when he told me to Grandmaster Lima's his grandson lives in the United States, in Jersey. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, Sachi. I was like, you should go get in touch with him. I was like, seriously? I'm like, so then Sachi knows. I messaged him, like, hey, I want to introduce myself. Like,
I was in seclusion.
This is when he was a hermit. So like, I was like, so I reached out to him just to let him know. Sachi was kind, like he said hi. And I don't think we continued talking after that. It wasn't until like our my group or my school became finally affiliated with Lightning UK. So like our official affiliation is Lightning UK, and then Sachi came out of the woodwork, and then he did his thing, and he's like, let's
Came out of nowhere.
Ryan was still here too, so us,
Yeah.
Guru Ryan was still living in Jersey, and us three met, and I can't tell you. I remember telling Errol, I was like, dude, this was one of the best times I've had. And we didn't know each other. This is the first time I've ever exchanged with any of them, and I feel like it because we were taught well. I feel like, or our foundation, it wasn't hard to practice with each other and to blend with each other and really like explore. It really was, Sachi obviously still gave me pointers in certain techniques, in which I love, because I want to know where I could improve. But like as far as like just doing big Aitama and working the stick, it just felt like we've been practicing for as long as Errol and I have been practicing. So I love that it just felt very natural, just like how we when we just recently taught our seminar, it just felt like we've been teaching together for so long. So whatever it is, whatever connection we have, aside from like, it just somehow like our coming together it just works. So as far as my Lightning journey, it was really in different stages, like from this, I call it this flavor, and then this style of it, and then Sachi style, and a little bit of Guru Ryan style. So just trying to put that all together, that it still continues to be like a 20+ year journey, really getting to learn about this and understand it and do my best to teach it the way
great learning
it should be. Like I just wanted to also, I want people to know, because this is not my, like, I want people to know, like, what Lightning is like, and if Sachi or people have been practicing along with me, think this is you teach it, you're worthy to teach Lightning, go for it. So like it was great to have their blessing to be able to continue teach it, like being able to teach like the fundamentals and all the intricacies of Lightning. Like I really like that a lot of them were very gracious with their their critiques and their time and all of that. So this is and this is where I am now. So, or this is where we are now, right? So.
Yeah,
it's a good point. With like I think it's the individual in your journey. Like I highly recommend, regardless of the discipline or style, that you seek out as many folks or different factions to get their interpretation. I think it's only going to benefit you for the overall understanding of the system historically, how their methodology. Like in KI, I made a conscious point, Burton, Brandon, Yuli, Romeo's book. Like I can go to all the sources potentially because I want to know, like, I want to understand Avenir. When I start out, like
Mhm.
I want to understand like what they got. Avenir, obviously the Diego lineage. Yuli speaks for itself.
Mhm.
Brandon speaks for itself. Burton was Ricketts and Diego, and I'm telling you, it will benefit you if you're really immersed in a particular style. You're only going to benefit yourself and your students if you do that. It gives you just such a clearer picture and why they do things
Mhm.
differently. Maybe it's based on size, athletic ability,
Totally.
whatever it may be.
Yep.
But it's only if you don't do it, I think you're cutting yourself, your journey. I think you're cheating yourself,
Yeah.
essentially, if you don't do that. Assuming you have the time and the resources. I get if you don't, then
Yeah.
absolutely that's understandable, But
Yeah.
so much to your point on that, Alex, I think behooves of the student to do that. Teachers too. I
Yeah.
mean, regardless,
Yeah. I
regardless
mean,
of your style.
we tell our students, like, it's not for me to choose your path or your journey. I'm
Mm,
just here to guide you. Like, you really need to choose where you want to. I will do my best to show you the way, even if that means that we're not the school for you. If you could find a better teacher, you need to go because
yeah,
like only you know what your journey is. Like, no one else should dictate how you
no,
learn. So
yeah,
it
agree
is
I
a
with
mean,
you.
huge,
it's
like,
also
we
chemistry.
emphasize this in our school every time. I was like, you need to go. If we're not for you, or if you think this is, you want to go for it, just don't
Yeah.
be afraid to bring it up with us. Like, we're very open. We said, like, you have any concerns, if you feel it's not working or you want to try, let us know and you go for it. Like,
Mm,
I will be the last person to stop you because I did it. I was like, I needed to learn. Like, so I will go where I feel is best for me. And my journey is like, I'm the only one that could tell me. Well, next to my wife, of course, she could say, don't, no, I don't need you getting hurt. But aside from that, like, I will, it's my journey alone. So I will
mm.
find my path, and I hope, I could find instructors that will be able to help me with that and guide me and mentor me. So,
Yeah,
so
students are
that's
the most
yeah.
important part. It's not
I
just
know.
it from the
It's
teacher, well, so same question to you, Earl. How'd you get into lightning? I mean,
Yeah.
why,
So
how, and why? I guess.
with lightning, it was Alex and I had the same teacher, um, and we just went from there. And like I said, everything fell back to
I'm sorry.
lightning.
Who was the teacher? I'm sorry. Who was the teacher?
I'd rather not say right now.
Oh, okay. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. If
No,
yes,
no worries.
no,
Okay.
no disrespect, but
Yeah. No worries.
yeah,
No
it's because
problem.
there was too much politics where I had to pull away.
Okay.
Again,
Understood.
it was good. It was lightning was amazing, and um, you know, it, Alex was more experienced in lightning than I was, and I a lot of my students would say, "Oh, you really would say that about another teacher?" I said, "Of course." I said,
Mm,
"All the guys that you see that I bring here to teach a seminar with lightning, Guru Will, Guru Sachi, Guru Alex." You know what? They're more experienced in lightning than I am, but I'll train with them. I'll always train with them because they have more to show. And, you know, a little like 20 some years of doing that, after a while, you just get stalemate, especially that,
mm,
I'm here in Jersey, Alex is in New York, and there's only so much that you could actually practice. And, when we get together, we'll just practice as long as we can. And now Sachi, we met Sachi. Sachi will say, okay, this is you guys move this way, you move this way, this is good. But if you just do it just like this, you're going to see more power to it. And I tried it out. There it goes. There was more power. I was just like this. Martial arts should be always learning, always learning. I mean, like I said, I'm with Lightning. That's the school I was with, and that's what was always taught. Um, that's all I could really say about Lightning. I mean, I love
no,
it.
that's fine. So, Sachi, Guru Sachi, just like a quick overview for those who might know, might not know. What is overall, in short, the methodology of Lightning Scientific, and what are the weapon or weapon combinations that are taught?
Okay, so like in general, because lightning in the Philippines, we're very involved in competition. So we got known for the power strikes and the speed. Because Mang Ben was not only was he a judoka and also practiced karate, but he was really into fitness. He was really into bodybuilding. So he was always like studying how to, under how understanding the body and how it works, and understanding the science behind it to deliver that power. But even though the system is known for that, that is not actually the core of the system. The core of the system, if you look at our logo, is actually Espada Idaga, Sirada. So that we have our flavor of Sirada, and that is endemic to the Panay Island. Totally different. I've also seen some practitioners from like Master Felix Ginabo. I saw his move and I said, "Wow, this is kind of like similar to ours." So in a way, I was like, um, "This is a very Visayan." There was a this
Apparently, I didn't know.
art. He, was, he
You
didn't
didn't
get
get
the
the
memo.
message.
I was not inclusive in the group message to wear black.
Gene, we're gonna hijack the show, man.
I
I
know.
think it's already happened.
So the Serrada of Mang Ben is eh, is connected to his Espada Idaga. So it's actually Espada Idaga Serrada y Cadenilla. Cadenilla means a chain. So it's like a chain of movements, a chain of Serradas. And that's really is the core of lightning. It's a medium range um, what they call methodology, wherein you flank your opponent, and then the free hand is always engaged, because this free hand, although I just say that the free hand is engaged, but it's actually this is the dagger. So the dagger is always like involved, and this the weapon hand. He teaches with the stick, of course, like
I was going to ask that because I
most.
always see with the stick. Okay.
Yeah. But in actuality, when you ask him, he said this is designed for the blade, because a
Gotcha.
lot of our methods you would see they are precise in the cutting edge.
Mm.
When we do, let's say, I have a stick here. So when we do our number 8, right? If we do a number 8, it's always pointing with the edge, and even when we're striking, so there's always there is when you really study the our 13 strike methods of striking, there's a lot of what thrusts in there, and you don't but it just makes sense that this was done with the bolo, because the stick, thrust doesn't make sense with the stick. You have to be super precise for a stick to
As far
be
as the
effective
targeting and
on a thrust. If you miss with the thrust with the stick and it goes to a muscle, it's not as deadly. But that the 13 general striking method, it's all like really precise angles, and then it really is a bladed art. We also have he also incorporated his training in judo in Japan to the system. So we have a lot of like uh, small circle jujitsu, a lot of like it's not like grappling on the ground, but like the a more classical jujitsu, Japanese jujitsu, where you got interlocking limbs and stuff like
so
that.
like this, like the version of the Scredo and Dos Paris takedowns.
No, 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 no takedowns. It's
No
really
takedowns.
is like disarms and joint lockings and joint breaking
Disarm
kind
joint.
of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean the takedown just follows, because if let's say if I catch an arm, if a stick comes in here and I catch it, right, and I twist the arm like that, once you push
So
it down,
more incidental, not
it
okay.
goes to the ground.
All right.
But it's not really, there's really no follow. Once you get to the ground, there's no really a curriculum to do anything in the ground. It's basically once you take your opponent to the ground, you have your weapon, you finish it. You're not gonna mount him or anything.
Yeah, no, you're not going into a long
No.
PJK flow.
So
And
so that's the core of the system. The power strikes comes in because of his understanding of how the body moves, and also from karate and judo. So in judo, you have to really, when you throw someone, you really have to understand leverage. You have to understand angles, right? So he really understood those. So that's why it seems like that power is the inherent to the style, but actually that's kind of more of kind of a side effect of being understanding where your body should be and how it should function when delivering a strike, and it becomes that it's so smooth. Like, for example, for when we strike, we don't slice with the stick. We actually throw it like a baseball bat. It's relaxed in here, and then when it hits, it's relaxed, and to gain momentum, your body fully turns, and then at the end, it snaps. So it snaps or returns. So the power comes from the legs, goes all the way to the torso, to the arm, but it's relaxed, and then at the end, it even still snaps in there. So the whole body generates everything from the foot, from the ball of the foot to the fingers. All of that works together, and we explain that in our student, because we want them to understand how their body functions. So if you play tennis, you play tennis, when you serve, boom, it's the same movement. When you play baseball, it's the same movement. It's relaxed, but when it hits, it tightens up, just like what Bruce Lee was saying, at the last couple of inches. That's where it tightens up. So your momentum doesn't stop, and then we don't stop. Our strike doesn't stop right in the middle. We don't do that, because we want that whole momentum to just come and crashing down on you all the way to here. So it twists here when we strike. It twists, your body twists all the way here. The whole body just gonna come crashing down on you. So because we're so attuned to expect those kind of crashing blows coming at us, our defenses also adapts to those kind of power. We don't have blocks like this, because if we just block like this we keeps on getting we keep on getting hit that way. Same thing with this. We don't block the top block just with this. Our strikes will come in. So you would see our defenses go like this. There's always a hand stopping that strike. It blocks it, and it taps it. When you be in the top, it blocks, and you tap it down. You release that power. You what do you call that? Redirect it, right? Same thing with this. So, and then the concept of our strike comes into our defenses as well. When we block, it's not just like you block it with like power like this. Same thing with our strike. Once it hits, it twists, because it's like a backhand in karate, backhand, right? It stops the momentum of the opponent's attack. Once the stick connects, it twists like this. It's like bam. That's how it. So a lot of those, again, those are body kinetics. It's understanding body kinetics. Not up to the end, up to the wrist, up to the fingers. It all is connected. But because we're so used to, when any one of us, most of us, will hammer on a lightning strike. It doesn't stop in the middle, so you expect that thing to just kind of come. If you're not in the right position, let's say, even if you block it, if you're not in the right position at that time, it's still gonna get into you, because that's how it is. It's the strike is not a slice. It's a hammer. It goes like this, right? So So again, that's the kinetic part, but the main system is the espada itaga, sirad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Okay. It might,
the jujitsu in the end.
for those who don't know, it might be what he was also a southpaw, right?
He is a southpaw, but the thing is he's so ambidextrous. I've never seen that. I think, and I've never seen anyone like this because he um, he drills with the left hand, but he teaches with the right because he's most of his
Because of the
students
mass
are.
population being right-handed.
Yeah, so he can switch. If you see his that video I posted with he did with Tony Diego, with Mang Tony, he did it with his right hand. That whole sequence he did it with his right hand, but he did it so flawlessly. Then I forgot that he was a lefty. When I look at it, it's like, oh yes, that was a right hand. But that's the thing, and the thing about also my grandfather. That's why he was so dominant at his age. When I met him, he was already 60s, right? But around like, I think he was like late 60s, but around like early 60s, he was still competing.
Yeah.
And the dominance he has, it's not because our style is superior to the others, no, but because he lifts weights.
He took care of himself. He
Yeah, he took
conditioned.
care of himself. He trains every day. He takes care of himself, and he's ambidextrous. So when he fights you, he's gonna fight with southpaw. He's gonna fight southpaw,
Yeah.
and he's fast and he's strong. It's like there's just no way.
Yeah.
There was before they stopped it, but before there was still in the tournament circuit there was still the grandmaster level. That's one. That's when his legendary fight with Grandmaster Timoteo Maranga happened. Balintawak. That was the one that had what the video. There was the only video. So that's why our system. What I like about our system, it's tested at least in tournament because people can say, hey, you know what, we've tested this in battle. Of course, he was a guerrilla and stuff like that, but nobody can really prove that. But because he competed, like we have footage of it, we know how he played and you know how dominant it was. And at his age, when I was in Cebu on the world, when I was we were at the WCAF first world tournament. All the grandmasters came into the stadium. All it was, Johnny and Dosi Pares was the host of Narafil. Then they invited everyone, all the grandmasters from the known schools, the big schools in the Philippines. They invited them there. At that point in time, at 60, the rest of his compatriots were already old. They look old. Tatan was fast, but Tatan started teaching when he was already a little bit older. Kakoy was
like early 70s.
Yeah. And Kakoy was very. You would see it like Kakoy was in his youth. You could see the video. It's just really very. But at the time, it's not.
Yeah, it depends when you got these guys. You know what I mean? Did you get them in their twilight years? I mean, or did you get them?
Yeah, but he was different. Like when he was there, you would see it. Like the muscles were still ripping, and he would roll his sleeves.
No, you could tell he took care of himself. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
I think so. So that's what happened. His students followed that. His students followed that same mentality. A lot of the students are most of his students are also very health buffs. A lot of them. There is the Mang Elmer Ibanez was a professor of kinetics in UP. His students are very attuned into sports, sports science.
Sports science and the whole
physical culture.
So the lightning kind of lineage came into like people. Most of the students would be into that sort of thing.
That kind of supplementary. I got you.
Yeah, and I tell my students, try to do your strength exercise.
Stay in shape.
It will change your delivery. It will change your delivery of the style.
You do supplemental work. I mean, absolutely. We got Guru Alex. I'm definitely going to get your question. I just want to Guru Errol, what you guys all teach? Lightning Scientific. When you guys get together, and your take on this from the experience of you guys getting together, are you guys kind of sharing? Because you guys had different teachers. Are you sharing different methodologies and find compare and contrast? Or are you
Yep.
trying to not unless they join it together, but are you kind of benefiting from one another in these collaborations?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, with Lightning, like I said, there's different flavor and different aspect of and the way they see it. I see it differently. Alex will see it differently. Sachi will see it differently, and it's the execution, and it's pretty much a story for us. It's just like, why are you doing it this way? Oh, because of this situation. Are you why are you moving this way? Is it for a sparring thing, or is it for more of a true attack? If someone's really coming to fight you, and then it comes down to the technique itself. We'll break it down, going, okay, we'll do our method 1 through 6, 1 through 8, and what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Why am I stepping this way? How come we should be standing in this stance compared to this stance? And we'll break it down. And then we'll test it out. Again, it's not like, hey, listen, we're going to go into a death match and we're going to do this and do that.
Yeah, you're all three together, and
We're all here, and we're just going to test it out. And
I think it's great. I mean,
video clips that we put out there. I don't, back in the day when I used to put videos out there of us teaching or me teaching, then you'll see a lot of the lightning stance and everything. Even it just happens, I'm going to be teaching modern, and then out of nowhere, here comes a lightning stance, or I'll be teaching doblete repelon, and then here comes a lightning stance. But like I said, it's interesting on how I see how Sachi will teach it, and how Alex will teach it, and will point things out and go, okay, hey, listen, if you're at this distance here, what would happen if this guy gets this close to you? And again, we're in a weapons art, but who in their right mind really wants to stab the crap out of someone, especially within a espada y daga?
Not this guy.
Let's be real. So we have to teach it in a way for real life situation. What's your situation? Are you teaching a civilian? Are you teaching law enforcement? Or are you teaching military? So when you teach civilians, you have to teach in a certain way. And again, FMA to some people might be boring as hell, but you know what? It's opening a lot of martial arts studios' eyes on how effective Kali really is. Everyone, and you know what? I always say this to all my students: if they think your weapon training that we have to always fight with weapons, let them think that, because we have much more. So a lot of folks didn't understand that. In our seminar, we broke it down from stick work, edge weapon, improvised weapon, to empty hand, to takedowns, and so on. And again, it was a lightning seminar, and that's what we taught. And a lot of folks always say, "Oh, the lightning guys are all about their sticks and this, this, and this." Little did we know what we actually contributed to that seminar, that we saw much more from each other. And this is why I say, you know what? I'm a 50-year-old man, and I've been training for God knows how long. I'm still learning. So from Sachi to Alex, when we're out there teaching the seminars, or even just being at my house, being at a park, we go, I didn't see that. Do that again. I didn't see that. I didn't catch that last time. Meaning, from the last time you taught, you did the same footwork, but I didn't see that. And they'll point it out. Yeah, you didn't see that. We've been doing it all the time. It's like, oh, do it again, because now I'm very observant, because I really want to be sure that the system that I'm training in will really work. So again, there's a lot. There's a lot of systems out there, and I'm not going to call any systems out, but when we spar with each other, you're going to see lightning footwork. You're going to see the chamber. You're going to see this. You're going to see the strike. You're going to see our movement. You're going to see the twist and everything. You're going to see some redirection with a stick. And pop! You're going to see the little whip right there, right? I've been to seminars where the so-called masters, grandmasters that they were there will teach the technique. And I remember this about 15 years ago. I was at a seminar. It was a gathering of all systems, and they were teaching the technique that supposedly is very effective.
Mm.
And we all have our stories, and some are, you know, bigger than others. But the techniques that I saw them teach in their system, I'm going, that's interesting. That's interesting. I had a whole bunch of my students there with me. I said, I want to know if that works. So they started sparring with each other. All that technique and all that footwork that they were showing, gone.
Yeah.
Gone. So to me, if you can't pull off the technique or the drills, again, you have to think out the box, because you could train 20 different techniques, 20 different drills, and out of all of that, you're probably only going to pull 2 movements out of that. But you'll see the footwork. You'll see the chamber. You'll see the strike. So when I saw the so-called masters doing this, nothing was there. It was just so sloppy. It looked like 2 little kids doing this with wet noodles.
Yeah, it's common, especially if they're predominantly a drill-based system, and no fault. You know what I mean? If it makes them happy, I don't critique their journey and all that, but I'm not surprised when they tried to put it in a functional aspect, there was a breakdown. Wow. Yeah, no surprise.
I just like to add to Guru Errol's observation, because Mang Ben also teaches differently. We are still a traditional martial arts. We're based, our movements is based, a lot of it's based in traditional karate in Japanese. The stances in there, you would see a lot of like movements from Japanese that was I feel incorporated in it, because in the Philippines Taekwondo wasn't big when I started. Karate was. So I did karate, I did judo, I did aikido, and I see those, and I see the Japanese influence of my grandfather from his training in the system. So our training was very traditional, right? You do strikes, very Japanese in a way, that you do strikes multiple times until you get that perfect. The stances are stable and stuff like that. But Mang Ben would teach like 2 hours, right, with his students. But he's mostly a private. At the later years, he's mostly a private, more of a. He teaches in like private classes.
Students.
But when he teaches with his group, he would teach for 2 hours. Then actually the real class is after. That's when everyone's just like taking their shirt off because it's hot, and they're just hanging. And then this is where there's the open question with Mang Ben. That's
open Q&A.
Yeah, and then he would be, and he would encourage the students to ask questions. And then some smart elect guy would say, or even just a curious student said, like, how, Mang Ben, how about if we do it, somebody just does it like this? And he would said, prubahan natin. So in English it's like, you prove it. So if you're gonna talk and open up about that, and you have a question, you come forward to him and you have to prove it to him. You're gonna strike him for whatever. Let's say he strikes. He said, "Oh, how about if he does it like this, right?" And he would actually have a counter to your question.
Your counter, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of that learning of that. That's just very very kind of. I don't know, of course, of the other martial artists, but I know traditional Filipino martial arts. You just follow the teacher. There was no questioning. So, but with him, he encouraged that. So that's why I'm confident. I'm confident with our system in a way, because we do a lab. We encourage that to do question and answers, and different teachers would probably have a different way of doing that. But at least, with Mang Ben was like, okay, so if he does like that, same thing with that video with Mang Tony, right? He blocked, and then he strike, and he said, oh, what happened if what the Mang Tony said, what happens if they block? Okay, good. So if you block, this is where I'm gonna go. So there's a lot of those that he did in it, and I see like Guru Errol and Alex doing it too, and I think that's where I'm thankful for my experience here with with the American, with the Western approach to FMA, because in the Philippines, very traditional still, even though where Mang Ben was more open-minded, but still, if you train in a particular system in the Philippines, you just have to follow that drill. You have to follow that pattern. There's no leeway. There's no a lot of cross training. There's nothing like that. But in here, people don't have time for that. So they like, you would see a lot of system would say, "Hey, our system is the best," but they were just actually like they're grabbing little stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of Western. I think
And there's no because so that's what I see. But that's my father was always a fan of Bruce Lee to again always say absorb what is useful.
So
So
that's what having FMA here. It was the JKD.
yeah, that's where
coming out.
everything changes for all traditional martial arts. It's that, hey, you know what, absorb what is useful, never assume anything. So that's why I'm confident in my system, because I know how Mang Ben taught, and that we competed a lot. So we have when we drill, how we drill, we have videos. So this is not just like a talk. When people see us how we drill and how we fight in the tournament, the same. The blocks are the same. Everything goes.
Yeah, right. You're not seeing it different.
Everything is there. It's how it's applied. It's applied. So that's why that's why I really enjoy the system. One other system that I also really enjoy was Kalelistrissimo. So when I've met Tatang, as I mentioned before to you, that I met Tatang and I attended one of his seminars, and also Guru Vico when I attended him with you. A lot of it clicked to me. Then it's like, oh shit, a lot of lightning strikes are actually bladed, because now I appreciate the blade more because of the Illustrissimo system. So without that cross training that we didn't have in the Philippines, without that, that aha moment would not come out. So it's like, oh shit, yes, this is it. So that's why we have an upcoming workshop with Guru Vico, because Kalilistrissimo and Lightning, although we have a good relationship with them back home, but the system really, really kind of jive with each other. So that's why I really
awesome. You guys got that. Because I'm going to get Alex, and then I'm going to revert back to Guru Sachi with Alex's question. So, Guru Alex, same question I had for Guru Errol. The collaborations, how are they working out for you? Are you're seeing this, different, I don't want to say methodology, but are you kind of getting different tricks or nuances to things, or further improvement on the system overall?
Oh gosh, I mean, the amount of insights already within the last year, just through the seminars, meeting with, training with Carl, training with Guru Sachi, with Guru Ryan. Like, I can tell you right now, like, I even have videos when I first practiced lighting, and it's fun to see my progressions, like how, where I realized I needed to tweak certain things. So I mean it's nothing drastic, but it's enough that you could, even with my students, or when I practice, like even when they tell me it feels different when I hit their sticks or click with their sticks. So like those little things, those little details that you can't, I tell you that you can't really see. You're going to kind of have to feel it. Like that was like a lot of where I think my next evolution into a lot, into the system came about. It really was a lot like what Sachi was also talking about. It really was the feel of the stick. Like I first experienced, actually, it wasn't even with Sachi. It was with when I was doing Big Aitama with Guru Ryan. And I was like, holy freaking crap, this
It
is
hurts.
great. And I was like,
Real
I
hurts.
like
Like
the
your
heaviness of the
hand hurts.
stick. Like I was like, gee, like, and Guru Ryan, like, I think, I weigh him by like, I don't know, 30, 40 pounds. Like, but the fact that like he knows how to put all of him into a single point of the stick, I was like, if it was, rather than saying whatever, like I was like, this is great. I was like, so I needed to know from these guys, what was it, how did you do, and when Sachi talks about the snap at
A
the
whip.
end and the little twist, I was like, yes, that's what I needed, these little things that I wasn't really doing. And then immediately the first person, I was like, yo, Errol, we gotta meet up. I gotta show you something. I was like, but like, I mean, that being said, like, I think what I like about our, my students, even with Wilton, my wife, like, as far as like these seminars go, like, I think my thing with the seminar is like, I like that even though us three were teaching, when the other was teaching, the other two teachers were also participating. They weren't just watching, talking aside. When I go to other seminars, like, I am a big fan of, if I come as an instructor and I'm not the one teaching, I will be a student, and I have no problem saying, like, and if somebody comes to, why do you need to learn this, or why do you need to know this? I'm like, because there's always something to learn.
You go there,
I'm not
you go sit on
above.
the chair or
Yeah.
sidelines,
So like,
man.
so
It's gonna be a long day.
yeah.
Well,
So that's why I like with all of us. There's so much humility in our group. Like we
very humbling.
there's no sense of, I feel like, any kind of there's
like
confidence, but
you're
there's
not.
no arrogance. Like everybody will be there to learn. Like, go in hoping, like I go in always, hoping that, I hope I learn something. Or especially like, when we're done with the seminar, it's the talks between seminars, after the seminars, where I also gain a wealth of information. A lot of times I do like going to the seminars because of what happens afterwards. I'll participate, and then we talk and we explore it a little more, have a few drinks, lose, and it's like, oh, let's try this again. We did it at Sachi's. After we practiced in the park, we went to eat at your place, and then even then, Ryan and I practiced a little bit. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh wait, we do that. I was like, we call that kasilagan in our thing. I was like, and then I forgot what he called it. But yeah, just those things. I like that. At least I feel like our generation, we're as much active students as we are instructors. There's no delineation. We're never gonna just stay here.
That's
we
good.
we go between both. So
Yeah, you know what it is. We dropped that term, leave your ego at the door, and that's what we actually did, because you know what? There's always something to learn. There's someone who's going to be better.
Absolutely.
And why not just learn it?
Why not participate? You're there. You know what I mean? Didn't you go there to participate?
No, I was there to cause problems.
Well,
Actually,
all right, I gotta get to you guys. We got because I got a test run at 9:30. But we're still fine. But here, I want to get back to Guru Alex's question. So this is for you, Guru Sachi. His question is, can you please elaborate on the story video of Timino Maranga? I guess the match.
Yeah, that match. Well, of course. I own what I have. What my info only is also being told to me. I wasn't there yet.
I think he
you would see their their headgear there. There was like old knights, like metal. There's like a slit in the eye here. It was but the footage came from Master Roland Dantes, and this is why.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, that's why that's why I'm sad that he passed away, because a lot of our the library of Filipino martial arts is with Guru Roland. He videoed everything. Him and Topher. Like Topher has a lot.
Topher but his student David Fogy.
David. Yeah.
That guy's library.
David has the archive, so I'm really hoping that David can release some of them.
Yeah, that would be.
Because oh my God, here's my thing. when I was a little kid, I had this demo with my grandfather. Nobody knew when I came back, and introduced myself. Nobody knew who I was because all my footage with my grandfather that I took were all burned when our house burned down. I don't have
Mm.
anything. And the only one who was taking a video of that time was Master Roland Dantes because we invited him. So he took video. So he so he did took that video of the fight. So there's footage out there somewhere. I think it might have been taken down. So you see just highlights. But how I was told was this was during the grandmasters level competition. I don't know who were the matches. I don't think it's because these are older people. There, it's not like you have like elimination rounds and then you fight succeeding matches. It was like maybe like two matches. That's it. So, but this was the match that was recorded. So. This was the one that was most talked about, at least on our end, because it was so it was Lightning versus Balintawak, and so what I was told that Mang Ben won that fight, and then the video is out there for people to see, so I cannot really elaborate on it. One thing that and this was full armor. This was full armor before this was Narafil Weekaf, a Narafil time before Weekaf. So it was like the full armor live stick. There was no live stick and everything. What I was told by the Mang Ben's students who was there at the match. They said that when the grandmasters were introduced before the match, they had to wear barong. So the traditional Filipino shirt. It's the traditional Filipino shirt, the white traditional shirt that you would see in the Philippines, and it's loose on the arm and with a collar here. So they said after the match, Master Marangas barong wouldn't fit his arm anymore. He didn't wear the barong because the arm was so swollen already. So
That was broken.
that was
That
saying
was
that
broken.
but it was still, and you would see it because like how my grandfather plays with this. He anticipates in vertical the arm. He always attacks. He always attacks the weapon arm here with this
Mm.
vertical strike, and even if you're in the padding of the armor before, they were just slippers, basically cut down rubber strips, and
Yeah.
you would feel that given how we deliver strike, we would feel that.
So
So that was the match.
basically,
That was the match. Any other match after that, I don't know, but the snippets out there online, it was really cool to see because like my grandfather was like moving so quickly, and he would be faking and stuff like that. It's like you wouldn't know that this guy is 60.
it's 67. Wow. Well, there you have it, Guru Alex. All right, guys, I got a couple more questions. Gonna kind of just bang this out quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could always bring you guys back on. I mean, this is fun. Okay. Guru Alex,
Yeah.
goals for your. I mean, what would you like to see collectively as far as the future and goals for Lightning Scientific in the U.S.?
Oh man. No, like after I've been through a week of interviews, like, oh, this feels like another interview question, right? So honestly, like I just want more people to be exposed to it, and just really know really how efficient it is, like how powerful it is, and also like how beautiful of art. There's such a finesse to lightning that people don't realize. It's not just that pure power, pure speed. There's like, when I watch like the footage of Mang Be, like there's just such an art and a beauty to seeing that type of powerful or destructive force that he has behind it. So just
Yeah.
really getting people to appreciate, the like I said, the efficiency of it, but also the beauty of lightning, and just know that I just want people to know. I just want more people to know that it does exist. Like I mean, we've like Errol and I said, like, we've been here for been doing it for 20 plus years, but it's I guess it's only now thanks to Sachi and people like go around that it's really start you're hearing about it more and I from day
Which
one
I
I
think is
kept
great.
yeah,
Mhm.
from day one it was always like when everybody asked me what's your favorite style in the system, I was like, yeah, it's freaking lightning, and they'll see that with me. It just you know just like monk, but I love to lift. Like I guess there's a it's somehow I guess people who lift also get gravitate towards that, right, Sacha? I guess or some version
Yeah,
of it or something like that. But
uh,
or like
Crisostomo just commented and he said lightning scientific plays
it
with
really
certain
does.
body types.
Like it really does. It's like the same for me. Like with when I do my lifts, I gravitate to things like Olympic lifting, where there's like the cleaner jerk and the snatch and those type of explosive lifts. So like it was just a no brainer. So I would love to people. I mean, and aside from it, just bringing that such an awesome art, like you practice enough, there's such a level of fitness you need to be able to practice lightning well.
Yeah.
I like there. I kid you, there have been times that at the end of a session, like my hands is just they don't stop shaking anymore. I'm like, wow, like that was how much we drilled. I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
like it's just this like every time, and I want people to appreciate that and learn that because I think
Yeah.
it has more than just a combative benefit to it. Like,
No, no,
and I
no.
can't, yeah. So I mean that would be what I would like for lightning system and
No, I think it's a
as
great
far as
answer.
here in the
And
US.
I think you guys are on the right track. Same question, Guru Errol.
The same thing, I just wanted, like Alex said earlier, we've been doing this in this area for 20 some odd years, and we're not the known group out there, to be the lightning guys, but they see it, and good thing for Ryan and Sachi for really helping it out because
Mm.
it's becoming known. From the other players out there, they're like, yeah, 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 lightning. Yeah, we don't know too much of it. We do this, and when we spar at the barbecues and everything, that I just bust out the lightning. They go, "What the hell was that?" I said, "That's lightning." And because you're doing it slow first, you're playing around, but again, we want it to be known, and
Yeah.
it's not trying to flex or anything. It's just what it's a beautiful system. FMA is a great style. For martial arts, why not? Why isn't it known over here? So for us three here, we're going to propagate it as much as possible. And
You
I
should.
hey, my guys at the school I'm teaching at, that's what we do. That's our warm ups. We do our warmers are good 30 minutes of lightning, and then we do more stuff in it. But let it be known that we want lightning to be shared around this area.
I think no, and I'm gonna do all I can to help you guys make that happen.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Double question for you, Guru Sachi, and I'm probably gonna have to close it out after this. But again, we could do this again before the collaboration, so this won't be the last time you guys are on.
Thank you.
So double again, same question to you, Guru Sachi, and future collaboration with all of us. Am I
Yeah.
getting fed? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So the goal is again this for me it's personal. This is really an ode to my grandfather. He didn't really. His most famous video was his demo on Master Dan in Santos gym. That's basically much of what his foray into the United States. We have systems like Balintawak under Grandmaster Bobby, and you see the effect when the Grandmaster is still alive and he's like really performing at that level. So it's beautiful to see. So my grandfather didn't see that that's why we weren't able to root into the U.S. His next foremost student, the founder of Lescas and where the line of Master Ryan is, also came into Seattle. But then after a few months, he passed away from cancer. So we never really got rooted here. And I wasn't
Mm.
really, I took myself out of it too, because for some personal reasons, but it comes in for the circle. Like I'm back, and I owe it to my grandfather. And I'm not just here to say, hey, I want Lightning to be known. I want Lightning to be part of the community. I want Lightning to be part of the Filipino martial arts community. Hey, in the Philippines, Lightning is what they call the Big Four. We are one of the biggest in top martial arts group in the Philippines. We we just didn't got rooted here compared to when Doce Pares was here, or when Grandmaster Gahe established PTK around New York and
PTK.
stuff. So we didn't get rooted here. So this is maybe our time, and we're not like spreading it out and formulating schools, but it's like, hey, you know what? The Lightning Alliance is not just um, us three. It's actually my, our umbrella. It's not a group. It's an umbrella term for anyone. We're calling anyone who is a Lightning practitioner. You have a home here. You have a home
Yeah,
here in
regardless
our
of past.
alliance.
Right. Okay.
We are.
Door is
I
always
want to
open.
be part of the
Yeah.
FMA community. That's why I always support Dean. I always support FMA discussion, because I don't want this to be, hey, you come to us, we're here. No, I want us to be part of the whole community, that we're here. I love learning from other groups, and you could probably learn from us. How I teach, it's very simple. I tell my students, like, we would love, I don't mind people innovating from my grandfather's
Mm.
style. What I always tell people is, I have innovated my own movements to uh, function in the modern era from what I've learned from the past. But I always teach the traditional way, because I tell the students, I want you to have the reference point. I'm the
Mm.
closest
Yeah.
person in movement right now to my grandfather. So I'm gonna teach you how it was taught me and how he moves, at least, of course, to the point. But so you'll have a reference point. Then you innovate from there. But at least now you know this is how Lightning was, and apply it to your school, apply it to your system. So to end, thank you so much for this time, of course, and
Yeah.
giving us this
Dean,
this
thank you.
this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you,
No. No.
Dean.
No. Happy to
Great.
do it. We'll do it again before the collaboration. So we'll plan the collaboration when you get back. And just folks that are watching, listen. What I mean by the collaboration, I will be driving down to New Jersey,
Yeah.
and these three were so kind to invite me down there to do a seminar, a joint seminar with these three. And I'm excited because I'm going to be exposed to lightning from all three of them. And you bet I will be soaking it up like a sponge. And so I'm
Looking
looking
forward
forward to
to it.
that. I think it's going to be in the springtime.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think
Perfect.
it's going to be great. And so we'll,
And there's food and drinks.
these guys will be back on.
You're gonna love the
Um,
food, Dean.
yeah, yeah, these guys will be on. In when we set a date for this, and a few weeks before, I'll bring these guys back on to kind of catapult and give some exposure to the event coming up. But again, this is going to be in New Jersey, and I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to joining these guys and doing this. So,
Don't
but yeah,
forget your
big
black
salute
shirt.
to you guys. And thank you for coming on. And please, when you get back, Sachi, when you get back, let's all four of us get on a group call and plan it out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Looking
Yep.
Sounds
forward
good.
to it. Thank you so much.
All
Hey,
right,
F
you
is
Dean,
guys,
thank
bro.
you.
Thank you.
you guys take care.
Have a good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
Good
Maraming
night,
All
guys.
salamat.
right, I'll be in touch. Have a great trip, Sachi.
Thank you.
All right. Remove, and I got you. All right, folks, that wraps up this episode. That was a good one. They will be back on. I'm sorry I had to cut it short. Well, it's almost an hour and a half. I guess I didn't really cut short, but with three folks, sometimes time management can become an issue. But much to Renee's comment, Count Dante. I don't know. I don't. We're gonna have to ask them next time their thoughts on Count Dante. But if you guys are bored and you're sticking around, I'm doing a test run at 9:30. Hence the reason why I had to not end this soon, but and there. And the test run is going to be with Justin Fernando in Canada. We're going to be covering him in school. So the test run is going to be at 9:30. So 4 minutes. And all that. So check that out. And that's going to be this episode, Friday night, episode 368. And I believe it's going to be at, let me tell you right now. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time this Friday night. But the test run is coming up in 3 minutes. So check it out if you're not doing anything. All right. Somebody else see you in a few. If not, hopefully Friday night.